Hi Stella, my name's Jill, and it's such an honor to create this video just for you. Now I'm sure when you looked at the book you thought it was for someone younger than you, right? Well, your Grammy wanted you to have the message of hope that comes with this book. Now because you're older, I want to share a little extra with you. You see, this story didn't just happen overnight. It has taken my lifetime to get to here. When I look back in my life, this story began when I was even younger than what you are right now. Let me explain. You see, when I was a child, we raised horses, and one of our horses, Miss Liberty, was getting ready to have a colt, and we all knew that baby would be mine. The morning the colt was born, my father and I went out to the pasture, and we thought someone played a joke, because this sweet little baby looked just like a donkey. Others laughed at him and thought he wasn't very cute. But I loved him, and he became my best friend. Now, flash forward, I wrote this book. And there's two characters in here, Olivia and Havivi, the donkey. And you see, they have a true love for one another. How could I have known that? How could I have written that without experiencing it? So God gave me that gift of Prince. So when this story came to be, it was just natural. I understood. Why? Because this message needs to be shared with children around the world. The message of hope. Well, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this. And this gift is to you from Grammy, and she simply wants to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Let's get started. So hi Stella, my name is Olivia, and I'm excited to share a beautiful story with you, and the power of God works in and through the lives of all of us. Stella, do you know who Jesus is? Well, this is a story about how God used a simple little donkey to help Jesus. When I was a baby, my family received a little donkey to help carry me around. His name was Havivi, which means friend or dearly loved in Hebrew. Here's a challenge, Stella. Can you say Havivi? He was always by my side and watched over me, and he would tickle me with his fuzzy nose on my cheek, making me giggle. He was my best friend. And we had no secrets, and Havivi shared the best stories. It is true, he could talk, just like the donkey in the Bible. You can find that story in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verse 28. Stella, you have to read that story too someday. Why? Because it's another reminder that God can do all things. And Havivi was a special gift from God. One day, my father said that God told him that Havivi must go to our neighbor Joseph. Joseph, his wife Mary, and their unborn child were required to travel to Bethlehem to register for the king. Even though I was heartbroken at the thought he would no longer be mine, I knew he would never be far from me. Now, Havivi told me about how he carried Mary on his back. He stepped gently to make sure he did not slip and fall. He asked God to guide his footsteps and heard God's voice in his ear with words of comfort and wisdom. With each mile, Havivi grew stronger. His confidence soared because he knew God had chosen him. Stella, God has chosen you for something special. Arriving in Bethlehem, they tried to find their way through the enormous crowd. Havivi was alert and tried not to stumble on the cobblestone streets. And again, he felt God's presence of peace as they moved along their divine path. The day turned to night quickly, and Joseph knew that he had to find a place to rest. Mary would brush Havivi's fur with a mother's touch. She would gently talked to him along the way, showing her love for him. Joseph couldn't find an inn because they were all full. But finally, an innkeeper took mercy on them and offered them a place in his barn. Because the journey was long, Havivi began to drift off to sleep. There was a gentle breeze, a beautiful scent, and now a new sound in the barn. The voice of a baby was such a blessing to the ears, and high in the sky, a star shone bright like a diamond on this holy night. That night, there were shepherds in the field attending to their sheep, and the angel of the Lord appeared and told them the great news that their Lord and Savior had been born in Bethlehem, the city of David. The angel told them to follow the star to the Holy Child. Filled with joy, they began their journey to this holy place to bring him honor. The shepherds followed the star and quietly entered the stable. The little shepherd boy knelt beside Jesus and began to sing sweetly in his ear to bring him honor. Havivi felt it his duty to watch over this baby while others entered that night. So, with his nose, he squeezed in to be by this precious child. Now King Herod heard about this precious child, and he ordered 3 wise men to go immediately and report back to him. Oh, when they saw the star, a great joy filled their hearts. When they arrived in the stable, they bowed down to the King of Kings, the Son of God. They presented him with frankincense, gold, and myrrh. Stella, this Son of God, slept by candlelight. His glow warmed the cool night air. As a shepherd boy continued to sing, a small child, known as the drummer boy, began to keep time. The heavenly music soothed their souls. Havivi watched as Mary wrapped Jesus in his blanket. He marveled at how her touch was so gentle. Mary began to settle in, but turned and looked at her sweet donkey. Walking to Havivi, she threw her arms around his neck and said, "Thank you. You have served God well. I love you." Mary then led Havivi to Jesus and asked him to watch over him in the night. Snuggling up to this sweet boy, Havivi watched every breath he took. In the quiet of the night, Havivi began to realize how God had called him for this divine moment. That honor filled his heart with joy. Stella, I hope you have enjoyed the story. Havivi has taught us many things, and his words will forever ring in my ears. As I snuggled up against him, Havivi said to make Jesus my best friend and ask him into my heart. Remember, Jesus is always near, so never be afraid and always look for God's hope in my life. Stella, this message is for you too. May you be blessed and know that you are loved. Your friends, Olivia and Havivi. Well, this story has come to an end, but Stella, your hope journey is just beginning. There are activities in the back of the book, and I hope that you will look them over. But one special page I want you to take a look at. It's the one with my name on there, Olivia. See, O means to obey God. L means to love Him with your whole heart. I means to invest in the gifts and the skills and the talents you have to serve Him. And then vow and commit to serve Him. And then imagine the possibilities. And always know that God is with you, no matter what. Before I close this, no prince did not talk to me like Habibi and the donkey in the Bible. But see, God gave me a beautiful way to be able to communicate with him. And it was just between us. See, God will go to great lengths for our lives to be touched so we may become successful in life, especially in his name. Thank you so much for listening, Stella. May you be blessed. Remember to be a blessing to others. And Merry Christmas.